An update. Autopsy reveals the activist who was killed in Georgia, the environmentalist, was actually shot 13 times. Now, that is a contrary narrative to what we were led to believe in the beginning. I'm going to give you some significant background, nuance, and some highlight. Let's put up the picture. The young man who was killed, 26-year-old Manuel Terán, the environmentalist killed by police in Atlanta. Now, where was he killed? This was the Cop City development. I'm going to explain what that means. It was in Atlanta's South River Forest near the planned site of Cop City. This is a training facility addressed the public for the first time Monday to ask for transparency. The family wants transparency in the investigation. His killing happened amid an escalation of police repression against Cop City protesters, which has resulted in at least 19 people being charged with domestic terrorism since December. Now, they accused the environmentalist of shooting without warning, wounding a trooper before several other officers returned fire. Now, I'm going to tell you why we are more than concerned about the narrative. Number one, you had 4, possibly 5 different police agencies doing an operation called the clearing operation. The clearing operation. What are they clearing? They're clearing the way for rich people, developers who landed the contract to build Cop City. That's what these 5 agencies were there to clear, people in the way of money. I know they say, well, development, et cetera. It was money. The folks who got these contracts are connected to the politicians who approved it. There was no public appetite for this to happen. It was artificially created. We need a Cop City. Okay, community said, no, not really, we don't need this. Activists went to Atlanta City Council. No, we don't really need this. We can do something else with this money. Environmentalists said, no, we need to protect the forest. We can do something much better with taxpayer dollars. But the city, along with other partners, continued to push forward without significant buy-in from the community and without any buy-in from the activist class. Now, I've been in touch, obviously, with all activists involved. I'm in Atlanta. And when this first happened, we were sure that video cam footage existed. Why? Because virtually all of the departments who were there, part of this coalition, this operation, they're mandated by their government, by their local government, DeKalb County, City of Atlanta, et cetera. They're mandated to wear body cameras. So naturally, if somebody's dead, excuse me, we assume the footage is going to come out. Well, the one agency where the law does not apply happens to be the Georgia State Police, the state troopers. They are immune to the law of a mandated body cam. And according to their narrative, it was the state trooper who pulled the trigger. We were left to believe that only one officer returned fire, and all of the other officers from all of the other jurisdictions who are mandated to wear their body camera, they simply were not close enough for any footage to be caught. We have a lot of questions. You know, it's an operation. Even though the state police, they don't have a mandate, they do have to wear body cameras if they go to the Georgia Capitol. That is a law, yeah. So that law works for politicians, but they don't want it anywhere else. No other agency can provide more information. This is why individuals are upset. The police have earned the distrust they currently experience. They earned it, all right? There's more. Let's put up the weapon that they claim Mr. Terán used. Terán is accused of shooting without warning. This right here, before several officers returned fire. The GBI says it has tied the bullet that struck the trooper to this gun found at the scene and provided documents showing Terán had purchased the same gun September 2020. While some details about the January 18th killing have slowly emerged, lawyers representing the family said the family has yet to receive a response of any kind from the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, about the details surrounding the death. On January 30th, the family hand-delivered a letter to the GBI requesting a meeting with the agency, attorney Brian Spears said. The letter was delivered in hope of receiving an explanation of the details that led to the killing, but it has gone unanswered. Lawyers representing the family have now petitioned the GBI to release audio and video from any agencies involved. We're talking about this multi-jurisdictional coalition. While Georgia State Patrol troopers are not required to wear body-worn cameras, other agencies present for the raid are equipped with them. The GBI has said that no other body-worn camera footage from that day is available. Lawyers also posed the question. They said, listen, we want the drone surveillance camera footage from the site, but have not gotten a response, Spears said. The calls for transparency come after an independent autopsy, which lawyers said was completed last Tuesday, revealed the man they killed was shot at least 13 times by multiple cops. To date, there has not been a full accounting of the events surrounding the killing of an environmentalist that everyone says was not aggressive. The GBI has cited its ongoing investigation into the killing as a reason to withhold information about January's deadly raid. But Spears contended that there's no reason to keep the information private since the state cannot bring charges against the dead person. Let me be very clear. I know the rules of engagement here. There's no case. The individual who should have received due process, creating a constitutionally mandated judicial case, is dead. You killed him. So what investigation are we referring to, gentlemen? What investigation is ongoing? You see, this was simple, real simple. You knew the operation was going to start, you planned for it. Hell, you possibly even trained for it. You coordinated with multiple agencies. And all of a sudden, there's a dead environmentalist. There's no video. There's no surveillance, even though you all had drones and everything else out there. 90% of the police agencies involved all had cameras. And even though there's no body camera for the state police, they are required to have a camera inside of the vehicle. Damn it, where is the video? We believed in good faith that the least you all would have done is provided the bare minimum transparency for this dead 26-year-old. Bare minimum. The family is suffering. Communities are becoming more and more distrustful, not because of them, but because of you. Because of you. This was simple. If your actions are righteous, you make sure that there's plenty of footage available. Something doesn't smell right here. Something does not smell right. All right, Ben, thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really heartbreaking, and it really speaks to like the shamelessness of a lot of these police departments, because this is something that this actually reminds me of. I believe it was Winston Smith, and I greatly apologize if I got his name wrong, because Minneapolis police officers have killed a lot of people in the past couple of years. But if I remember correctly, it was a joint task force that killed Winston Smith, and they said they didn't have any body cam footage because even though they were like Minneapolis Police Department officers that were working there, because it was a joint task force, there's special different operation rules, and this feels like exactly the same type of thing where like they intentionally, now this is something you need to understand, right? They intentionally separate responsibility and authority from each other, and they also at the same time create these bureaucratic like loopholes so that they could say like, oh, well, this person's responsible, but they don't actually have any authority because they're not really the person that was in charge. The person that was in charge was over here, and they didn't really know what's going on. And so I guess it's nobody's fault then. I guess it's nobody's fault. And there's a lot of that, like just throughout our society in general. But especially when it comes to like police officers, where they intentionally create these ambiguous workplace environments so that you can have that degree of uncertainty. Like it's something that they do on purpose, right? Did they need state troopers there? No. Did they bring state troopers there because they knew it would give them an excuse to not have body cam footage? I cannot say that with 100% certainty, but knowing how police operate, I would say probably. That seems like a very likely reality, that they didn't want body cam footage and they wanted an excuse to not have body cam footage for something like this, because why else would they bring in the state troopers, right? And so like all of these things are just really important elements to understand when we talk about this, because like fundamentally, it's more than just one police department. It's more than just like these like individual cops. It is systemic, right? It is the entire approach that the United States has towards policing. I mean, literally, to my understanding, some of these people who were given trespass charges, right? Some of these activists who were given trespass charges, they wanted to throw terrorism charges on top of the trespass. And all they had was trespass with terrorism, like they're terroristically trespassing. Like we're really gonna put people trespassing in the same category as the people that did 9/11. That's like that's not what we're doing right now. Okay, we're gonna pretend that climate activists are doing 9/11 by sitting in the trees. Like it's just sickening, right? It's just sickening, the shamelessness, and the fact that they haven't released the video does raise suspicion, because like fundamentally, like if you're somebody that works in the media and you see, oh, they say that he had a gun. Even if they have a gun there on the spot, like we need to recognize something that's really important. Police officers lie. Police officers lie all the time. And occasionally they get caught, right? I think it was a couple of years ago, a police officer in New York City got caught planting a gun on somebody and planting drugs on somebody, right? So like you can say, hey, there's uncertainty around this, but it would be irresponsible, I think, to say that with absolute certainty, what the police said is true.
Right.
Especially in instances like this.
Right. And if anyone criticizes us for saying something doesn't smell right, please understand the reason why distrust exists is not because of the community. It is because of cops who lied and betrayed the trust we gave them. That is why we need answers. All right.